Chapter 13, Hollywood Circus of the Stars. ChzBrgr was like a big fucking fat penis in our butt, and signing to Hollywood finally pulled that penis out. Damn, that shit felt good when the penis was out of our butt. Even before they signed us, Julian Raymond, our homie, pulled strings and got us on a radio station promotional show in San Diego. The lineup was, if you can believe this, ICP, Cracker, and Radiohead. Shame they couldn't get Ika Mouse on there to make it a total fucking disaster. Of course, we were supposed to go on last because of the Fago mess we make. We were in the dressing room getting ready to go on. It was our first big show like this, our first show in California at that, and we were a little nervous to say the least. So being kinda new to the whole festival thing, we asked Billy to watch the door and make sure nobody came in while we're putting on our makeup. There was tons of bands on this show, and we didn't want anybody seeing us in transformation mode. That was our thing. The one little thing we had out there. We didn't want to be seen without our makeup. It killed the flavor if we were. It's like a wrestler being seen without his wrestling mask. It just makes it so it ain't fun. Now this is pre-internet, by the way. This is when the internet was just a baby. And this is before there were fucking 100 million videos and pictures all over the net of us without face paint, making it pointless to even fucking wear it unless we're on stage. This is back when we used to conceal our faces all the time with wrestling masks, monster masks, or any mask out there. While we were painting up, this weird-looking guy opened our dressing room door and walked right in. Billy, who really is the nicest guy ever, unless we got a problem of some sort, he kinda had to put up a little front. He had no idea who this guy was or if he belonged there. He just knew we needed to put our makeup on. So Billy told him, "Hey partner, you gotta get out of here. They're putting their makeup on." The guy shot back with, "I'm in one of the fucking bands playing tonight, man." Speech. You know, that was my shitty English accent. Okay. Billy grabbed the door. "That's alright, but you still gotta get out of here." He shut the door. Then the dude opened the door again and came right back in the dressing room. Because of course, rock stars don't like to get told what they can't do. "I want to see what's going on. I'm in the fucking band, eh? I'm in Radiohead." Whoever the fuck, Billy pushed him politely in the chest, just doing what he was supposed to do. Back up, dog. Let them put their makeup on. They'll be out to say hi to you in a minute. How fresh is that? Billy thought he was a fucking hound dog stagehand or something. So did we, as a matter of fact. Truth is, he could have been Michael Jackson. Just stay the fuck out of our dressing room while we're getting ready. Well, truth is, we probably would have let MJ in the dressing room, but everybody else, get the fuck out! Why am I being treated like this, man? Billy took his foot and slammed the door right in the guy's face. Then the guy opened the door again and came in. Billy grabbed him by his fucking chicken neck. I don't know if you've ever seen Tom York from Radiohead, but he does indeed have a feeble chicken neck, about as thick as a McDonald's French fry. Billy bounced him off the fucking wall about 7 times. "I told you, get the fuck out of our dressing room!" Bam! He was choking the shit out of this little crumpet-speaking English dude, and we loved it. Billy held the door open with his foot and threw the guy out into the hallway. He somersaulted like a bowling ball. The show, of course, sucked. There were only about 150 people left in the venue while we played. After Radiohead played, the crowd fucking filed out of there like there was a bomb threat or something. Afterwards, we told Julian what happened. "Some guy from Radiohead tried to come in." "Which guy?" Julian asked. We didn't know which guy. We just knew the guy looked like a retarded Martin Short who wouldn't fucking let us put our makeup on in peace. "You know who that is?" Julian asked us, starting to laugh. We had no idea who or what a Radiohead was. We just thought he was some hotshot who walked in our fucking dressing room and got slammed around a little something, which is how our band has always operated. We came to play, not see what's going on in other dressing rooms. We're nerds, remember? Scrubs. "That guy is the fucking lead singer of Radiohead," Julian said. "You fucking choked Tom York from Radiohead? You guys are the fucking shit." Yes, we are the shit. And like I said before, Julian was definitely one of us, a juggalo. Billy slammed the shit out of the lead singer of Radiohead, and our A&R guy was telling us how great we were for it. It was a good time. The point of this tale is that we were on Hollywood Records, but there wasn't any Hollywood atmosphere around us, at least until we started recording the record. With the mega loot we had from Hollywood Records, we got a new office in Novi. As a matter of fact, it was a warehouse, and we moved the whole Psychopathic Records operation into a giant building. For the first time, we had money. Everything Psychopathic had out was selling. We were huge in Michigan, in Ohio too. We were popping off greatly, pretty much in Michigan and Ohio only, but we were popping off in Michigan and Ohio hard at this point. I'm talking all our shit was selling. So every 2 weeks, we'd celebrate by having a giant N.A.W. wrestling party in our warehouse. That's right, N.A.W. Just like when we were kids in Joey's backyard and in Lacey's backyard and even my mom's basement, we had N.A.W., National All-Star Wrestling, where here we are now during the fucking Riddlebox era, moving into the Malenko era, and we're doing N.A.W. once again. This time in a real wrestling ring in our own warehouse. It was fucking awesome. We always said that if we ever got money, we would put on the ultimate wrestling shows, and we did just that. N.A.W. was back in effect. Only this time, we set it all up in a real ring with fat ring music and crazy amounts of stage lights. Our warehouse in Novi, Michigan was straight up transformed into a mini wrestling arena. We even had a ramp where the wrestlers came down, and we used our fog machines and our stage lights, and we invited every band we knew in Michigan to come check it out, and we'd get fucking kegs and kegs and kegs of beer and give free beer out so that everybody would come, because without the free beer, I doubt they'd come. But it was so dope. We found this guy named Ted Allen down in Louisville, Kentucky, who could build us a ring. Actually, I found out his real name was Ted Lipscomb when we wrote him the check. So that explains why he wanted to be called Ted Allen. Who would want their last name to be Lipscomb? Ted Allen, my ass. What's the name of your wrestling company, he asked. We don't have one. We just wanted to fuck around in the ring, I said. We sent the Riddlebox vans down there to pick it up. We found a fence company to build us a steel cage to go on top of the ring for the deathmatch flavor. It was an awesome summer. So in this warehouse, we had boxes of merchandise and swag everywhere, a wrestling ring set up in the middle, a concert stage for our rehearsals, video arcade games, real concert lights, a huge PA, and of course, a Fago machine. It was the bomb. The Beastie Boys used to talk about how they were gonna buy a studio and put a skate ramp with a wiffle ball bat diamond in it. Well, we actually went out and did it, ICP style. For the shows, we'd call everybody we knew in Detroit. Actually, Mike Clark would call them all up because he knew everybody. We didn't know anybody. We'd put on these fresh-ass N.A.W. wrestling shows, not to get ends or anything, but just for friends and juggalos. We came up with our own little wrestling storylines where every psychopathic employee became a wrestler, or if they were too feeble to wrestle, they were a wrestler's manager. We even had a rematch for the N.A.W. world title from back when we were kids. I tracked down Lacey. That's right, I looked Lacey up and found him. He was living at Evergreen and Finkel on the west side of Detroit. He had a daughter now, and he was doing pretty good. I got him to come back as the Jailbird Man once again and have a rematch with Joey, aka the White Tiger, for the N.A.W. world title. I don't know if y'all remember when we were talking about the Jailbird Man versus the White Tiger back in our kid days, but we did it again as adults, and it was fucking awesome. The same belt Lacey won in Joey's mom's backyard in front of our families when we were kids was back on the line again. You know what? The White Tiger finally won it back that night. It was fucking awesome. Lacey hadn't lost a step in the ring, and Joey was fucking better than ever, cause we used to wrestle in that ring for lunchtime. We used to do hour-long marathon matches, Iron Man matches every lunch, just to keep in shape. Me, Joey, and Rudy fucking slamming each other all over that fucking ring for hours at a time. We were in top physical fucking shape back in these days, I'm telling you. And even Lacey did good up against Joey in that main event steel cage match. And it was packed in that warehouse. Everybody came to see it. It honestly was like a dream come true that night. Every night we did an N.A.W. show in a real ring with real lights and real ring music and all that, and a real crowd was like a dream come true. It was so fucking awesome. Kids showed up, drank beer, and played video games. Rich Morrell was the ultimate ring announcer with his bald head. Of course, I'm talking about Legs Diamond. He'd wear a black suit and a red carnation. Rich is the fucking chameleon. He can fit in any role he's needed in. Wrestler, rocker, actor, stage performer. He plays a wicked bass guitar. Man, he's the shit like that. We even had two guys call into action where like every other line was, "It's a miracle he's not dead." Everybody was doing flips off the top through office tables and breaking them. I wrestled as Hector Hatchet, and I did my signature moonsault from the top rope. It was fun as hell, even though we would all be hurting and limping afterwards. Shit, you wonder why the whole WWF is out of their minds on Vicodin. Julian was so down, he and his wife even came in all the way from Cali to see an N.A.W. show. They didn't know about N.A.W.'s long-standing storylines or anything. That was for us, brother. All he could say was, "This is fucking awesome." You know what? It fucking was. I think Julian actually was a little afraid we'd hurt each other wrestling. The way our concerts were around that time, though, wrestling was way safer. Concerts were where the danger lies. We booked 2 shows in Toledo at this big club called the Asylum. Julian called us up. "Do you mind if Humble Gods opens up for you guys?" We were like, "Sure." I mentioned him like I did with the House of Crazies before because both groups will show up later in our saga in different incarnations. Anyway, our shows back then were so fucking nuts because they weren't long tours. They were maybe 4 or 5 shows in a row at most, and that was it. And by the end of those 5 shows, we would barely be able to fucking live and talk about it. I'm talking each show was pure violence. Jumping off the stage was a serious risk for us. Ninjas would rip out our fucking dreadlocks. They'd actually grab our dreadlocks, wrap them around their fists, and yank them out of our head so they could take them home. This didn't happen just once, ninjas. This happened multiple times. And most of the times when they try it, the dreadlock wouldn't come out of our head. It would just hurt like hell and be halfway ripped out. Fuck. At these 2 Toledo shows, I got into the habit of doing my trademark moonsault backflips off the top of the speaker stacks into the crowd. Wow, I can't lie, saying that now, it's like, whoa, I can't believe I was actually fucking doing that shit. I'm talking, these speaker stacks were like 15 fucking feet high, and I was actually doing backflips off them into the crowd, and the crowd was so fucking packed, I just land on top of people's heads. They had no choice but to catch me, because there was nowhere to move to avoid me. It was so fucking oversold at these shows, except that on the second night in Toledo, when I climbed up on the speaker stack to do another moonsault, wham! I slipped on Fago, and the next thing I remember, the very next thing I recall, was being loaded into an ambulance behind the venue. I had fallen the wrong way and landed between the barricade and the stage. I guess they pulled my shirt off in front of all the people at the asylum. The paramedics actually had to cut my shirt off. I was shirtless in front of everybody. Ah! That fucking terrorizes me right now just thinking about it. Ah! Thank God nobody had fucking cell phones with cameras fucking in them because I'd have been fucked. I never take my shirt off, ever. So I must have been unconscious or dead. That's the only way you're getting my fucking shirt off. You can ask my bitch. My shirt don't come off. I hump in a fucking t-shirt and a shirt and sometimes a winter jacket. I don't give a fuck. I'll be asshole naked from the fucking dick down, but keep my fucking clothes on my shirt and chest. All that is forbidden for anybody to see, except for Otis from Axl Murder Boys. He's seen me shirtless, but I won't get into that. My collarbone was broken in 4 places and I had a concussion. Straight up, I was knocked the fuck out. Hollywood got a little concerned after that. They didn't really understand the wrestling anyway, and now I was out of action for a month and a half. Julian was just like, "You guys are crazy as hell." When I was laid up, Hollywood sent me a solid gold Mickey Mouse stopwatch, which I promptly gave to my girlfriend at the time. The girl I was kicking it with was a big Mickey Mouse fan for whatever fucking reason. Julian called to make sure I got the watch. Yeah, I got it, I said.
"You know how much that thing cost, Joe?"
He asked me.
"Well into the 4 digits, bro. Well into the 4 digits."
I didn't care. I was never much into Mickey Mouse anyway. By now, Mikey Clark had changed the name of his studio to the Funhouse because we started to get bigger and bigger and we grew really close with Mike. We were down by law at this point. Mike was there whenever we needed him to be there for the most part. He really respected that we never sold him out like all the other groups did. Why would we have? Mike was the very best at what he did. The deal was we'd do the basic tracks at the Funhouse, then Julian would set up all these all-star cameos that were supposedly going to help us break the record. Julian was connected though, and we respected that. He pulled all kinds of favors to get Slash from Guns N' Roses to play guitar on Halls of Illusions, as well as Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols to play guitar on Piggy Pie. Julian was also producing Alice Cooper's new record at the time, so he got Alice fucking Cooper to do a spoken word intro for the album, which we now had a name for.
The Great
The 4th Joker's card. We were getting ready to go to LA to do our big recording studio sessions with the stars when Joey got arrested. Again. This time, it was for driving without a license while on probation. This being his 5th offense, he got sentenced to a fucking year in jail. Our jaws dropped open. A year! The whole courtroom's jaws dropped open. Joey's jaw dropped off his face and rolled under the table. We could blame this on a lot of things, I guess. One would be the way he dressed in court. We never once wore a suit or any shit like that. Joey always refused to dress up in court, and maybe that's what burned him. Who knows? Luckily, the Dark Carnival wasn't down to wait a year for Joey to get out, so it worked its magic. After they took Joey away, some watchdog type people from the city went crazy about the harsh sentence. I couldn't believe it, but they actually were taking Joey's side. People were fucking tripping about the harsh sentence that the judge laid on him. They weren't having Joey do a year for driving on a suspended license. Even though it was his 5th offense and a probation violation, they weren't having it. I guess the judge got in some kind of trouble, so he reduced Joey's sentence. Thank God. Joey's new sentence was for just 45 days. That didn't look too impressive to Hollywood Records, but whatever. I told them I could go out to California without Joey and get all the stars on the record. Don't worry about it. Joey, in all honesty, took it really hard. They shaved all his dreadlocks and beard right off. And when I went to visit him, he looked like a clean-cut, friendly altar boy. What really shook him was that he couldn't go with Billy and me to LA. You know, we may seem like these callous, bitch-hating, crude suburban gangster wannabe roughnecks. Well, we are all that and more, but it sucked to be him right then, missing out on 3 weeks of marinating under the shade of all those fake titties in LA. You know, Joey's a tough-ass ninja. He'd been in jail before. We'd all been to jail before. And I promised to write him every single day from the Kinkos on Sunset Boulevard in California. So with him in spirit, I went to California with Billy. A few days later, Mike E. Clark and Rich Morrell flew out to join us. The first order of business was to get Slash. That's right, Slash, top hat and all, from Guns N' Roses, and guitarist for my favorite artist of all time, Michael Jackson. Slash played on 4 Michael Jackson albums and played on stage with Michael Jackson countless times. He was actually Michael Jackson's guitarist. It's fucking hard to believe. Halls of Illusions, you know, some guitar flavor, kind of like what Rich had done on Riddlebox. Rip out the old 6-stringeroo and lay it down. Well, not Slash. The night before the session, in LA it's called a session. See, Slash's guitar technician came in to this mega-ass studio and set up something like 50 amplifiers and monitors. It was the most gigantic rig of shit you've ever seen, just for some guitar work. Slash is the bomb for that. When he does something, he does it for real. Julian was going all out crazy. He was going all out of his way to get Slash in the first place. So for the first time, I was in a passenger seat. Still, I was kind of dumbfounded by all this. We were stars in Detroit, sure. That studio, however, was super huge. A&M Studios, fuck, man. I believe that's where they recorded We Are the World. A&M Studios had more shit in the lunchroom than most people I knew had in their whole fucking houses. God, being there as out of place as I was, I felt like we were about to be stars everywhere now. Pat fucking Benatar was walking around. Oh, hey, what up, Love is a Battlefield singer? Fucking Sting, not the wrestler, the singer, Sting was over in the other wing recording. It was crazy. Nice work on that Puffy track, bro. The whole time I was in that big-ass arena stadium-sized A&M Studios control room, I was telling everybody, oh yeah, my partner Joey, he's in jail, but we're all good. Like I'd been in a million studios like this or something. The truth was, we'd never been out of Mike E. Clark's basement. I was like a caveman watching a spaceship. Slash's entourage were all these wolf-looking dudes. A wolf, by the way, is a juggalo word for a metalhead or a burnout, you know, a serious heavy metal dude with fucking patches on his fucking stonewashed jacket, extra tight-ass jeans, Marlboro red cigarette hanging off his lips, and a Mountain Dew in his hands. You know what I'm talking about. A wolf, man. They were everywhere, just milling around in the control room for the first 2 hours it took to get the mix up and ready. Finally, somebody asked, "You ready, Slash?" Suddenly, this guy with a ponytail and a baseball cap sitting way in the back said, "Let's do this." Slash had been in the room the whole time. I didn't even recognize him without his top hat. I felt like an idiot. "Brother, I didn't even know that was you. I'm sorry, man," I said. "What up? I'm Joe Bruce." "What's up?" he said. "Well, man, I appreciate you playing guitar on our record," I said. "I really fucking appreciate it, man, and I'm a huge fan." "Well, man, I think the song's awesome, man, I really do. Me and my girlfriend were in the drive-thru of a fucking Wendy's, man, and we were jamming that shit, you know. I love it, man." That's what Slash said. I was like, whoa, this is the shit. Slash knows our song. The chick he fucks likes it too, and I bet you she's hot as fuck. So Slash went into the room with his barrage full of amps to play, but he didn't want anybody hearing him. We all had to go out into the lobby while Slash did his thing. He asked politely, "Could we please exit the room while he records?" I can dig it. We went out and didn't say nothing. What are we gonna do? Tell Slash, "No, I'm gonna stay here and peep." All of a sudden, Julian said to me, "There's somebody I want you to meet." He brought over this ninja. "Joe, this is Leif Garrett." "Hey, how you doing?" I asked. Julian saw I was clueless as to who Leif Garrett is, so he explained to me that this Leif Garrett ninja was a teen superstar who now worked for Capitol Pictures. Leif, Julian explained, was trying to sell the idea to Capitol to do a movie about ICP and the Dark Carnival. All I could think was, a movie about us? Shit, how fucking cool would that be? That's what this ninja Leif Garrett was trying to do. Man, I couldn't believe it. Julian was going all out for us because Julian, of course, was truly behind us. Yeah, I hooked it up. I told Leif all about you guys, so he wants to interview you. Okay, cool. Leif was wearing a Riddlebox hat. Julian probably gave him that 10 minutes ago, but that's cool. You have to remember, this was before the whole behind the music thing. I never knew Leif Garrett was actually a fucking crackhead and a meth head and all other types of shit that I think I saw on TV. I know he was some kind of head doing some shit he shouldn't do, but yeah, I was clueless to all that. So I asked him flat out, so you were a fucking teen idol star? How? What did you do? He laughed and said, brother, I sold like 10 million albums. Whoa, you sang? When? He was just the coolest motherfucker ever. He answered, I was one of those pussy-ass teenage stars back when you were shitting your drawers in the 3rd grade. Wow, how did he know I shit my drawers? But that was in the 4th grade. Leif Garrett must have heard about it too. Get the fuck out of here, I said. So to see if he was lying, I called this girl I knew in Detroit. Have you ever heard of Leif Garrett? She's like,
No.
Have her ask her mom, Leif said. So I asked her mom, who started screaming, ah! I told you, man, Leif said, I was a big fucking star. So then I asked him, did you ever meet Michael Jackson? I sure fucking did. I did a fucking tour with the Jackson 5. Whoa! Now I was floored. Are you serious? Yeah, they were the Jacksons then. I know all about the Jacksons. That's when they left Motown and signed with Epic Records, and that's when Michael Jackson truly developed his voice. When they started calling themselves the Jacksons, that's when Michael's voice actually set in. There's like 6 albums of the Jacksons, and they're all the fucking bomb. Then he told me this crazy story about how one day him and Michael Jackson were sitting on this wall in Switzerland. Michael asked him, do you masturbate, Leif? No, I don't, Mike, Leif answered. Well, do you know anybody who masturbates? Michael asked. Leif just said, well, yeah, I guess. Then Michael Jackson asked him, well, how do they masturbate? Do they grab their penis and like yank it up and down really fast? Leif just looked at me. Joe, man, I was so uncomfortable at that point, I just got up and walked away. And I said, you walked away from Michael Jackson? I'd have fucking whipped my dick out and masturbated with him. I'd have showed him exactly how it's done if he wanted to know. Shit, I'd have masturbated him if he asked me to, probably. Mad uncomfortable. Why did I say that? I told Leif he was fucking nuts. I said, man, I'd have pulled my dick out and waggled it at him. Who cares how weird it was? That's fucking Michael Jackson. I even told him, yo, Leif, don't tell anybody, but if Michael Jackson had a N.A.W, I might fuck him, you know? Maybe. Of course, this was probably 1995 when Michael Jackson had out the Dangerous album, and he did look kind of good in that Remember the Time video, but unfortunately, he had a dick. If he looked just the same with titties and a N.A.W, I'd probably hit it. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you hit it, Joey? Out there in the studio? He'd hit it. Leif thought I was crazy. I was so fascinated by his Michael Jackson stories, I made Leif tell them to me again and again because I love Michael Jackson. As a kid, I used to dance like him and everything, and I still do, even as an old-ass man sitting here right now. I still get my MJ on, and don't think I won't fuck you up with a fucking pelvis thrust, motherfucker. I know all of Michael's moves. I was starting to explain the Dark Carnival to Leif for the movie thing when Slash walked out of the studio and into the lobby with us. I'm all done, he said. Fuck, man, I'm dying to hear it, I said. Oh, let him get a mix on it first, Slash insisted. Leif jumped in. Hey, Slash, how you doing? You remember me, Leif Garrett? Slash was like, yeah, I met you somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly I realized I was sitting there hanging out with Leif Garrett, whoever the fuck that was, listening to his Michael Jackson jack-off stories while he was talking to Slash from Guns N' Roses, who was playing on our album. I felt pretty fucking good. I couldn't wait to hit up Kinko's that night and tell Joey all about it. Then Slash turned to me. I got a question, Joe. This song isn't about Axl, is it? What? I said. No. Why would you think Halls of Illusions is about Axl Rose? Well, Use Your Illusion, Halls of Illusions. You guys are talking about people who beat their wife and kids. You sure this ain't about Axl? I laughed. No, bro, it's not, man. Really, this song is not about Axl Rose. That would be fresh to do a diss song about Axl Rose and have Slash playing on it, though. But it didn't, that's not what we were doing. Slash explained, oh, well, it seemed like it was about him. Shit, I wrote a whole fucking album about Axl Rose and he never even knew it. I just laughed. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I didn't even know Slash was writing albums and making them. I just kept thinking, what album? Slash has an album out? Where? Is he singing on it or something? I was steadily realizing how stupid and out of the industry we really were. Then Slash unzipped his bag and pulled out a wrinkled Riddlebox shirt. Yo, I wore your shirt on stage last night, bro, he said. It's the shit. I love wearing this shirt. All I could think was, where were you on stage last night? Are Guns N' Roses back together again or something? Then he started talking to me about how much he hated Axl Rose. Yeah, that fucking cocksucker. Yeah, well, Slash, bro, this song ain't got nothing to do with your boy Axl, I quickly assured him. Slash wasn't gonna let it go. He looked me right in the eyeball. Are you a fan of Axl? He asked. Oh shit, the fact was I was stuck because I did love Axl Rose. In fact, I think he's one of the greatest frontmen of all time. I'm a huge fan of the whole band, but fuck, what am I gonna say to Slash? He hates Axl Rose. Well, he hated him at the time. Right now, they got back together, believe it or not, and Guns N' Roses is touring the US for the first time in something like fucking 26 years or 28 years longer. I don't know how long it's been. Axl ain't here hooking up our album, so fuck him. I'm down with Slash anyway. In fact, I would have helped Slash jump that fucker Axl if he wanted me to at that point. Shit, Slash was playing on the Great Malenko. We're taking Slash's side. No, I'm a fan of the music Guns N' Roses did, I said. I've never met Axl though. I'm not exactly his fan of anything. Yeah, well, he's a fucking asshole, Slash said. By then, Billy had come down from the hotel with this girl from Detroit I had just started seeing. I decided it was time to wrap this all up. So, Slash, bro, what do we owe you for this, man? Because you can't just do this for free. Just get me a pint of Wild Irish Rose. That's what you owe me, a pint of Wild Irish Rose, he said. So Billy got him a pint of Wild Irish Rose from across the street, and Slash drank it down right there in front of us like it was cherry Kool-Aid. His throat must be like iron. He finished it off like it was warm fucking soup? I don't know. Slash was a drunk ninja. He could gargle toxic waste with exploding jumping jacks in it and not even be faded. You gotta respect a ninja that can drink that hard. You guys want to go over to the titty bar across the street? He asked. That's where I'm headed. No, I responded, being broke and afraid to hang out with Slash, knowing I can't even fucking do 3 shots without passing out and puking on myself. We're gonna be mixing the song right here. Fuck, man, I couldn't stop thinking about how stale I was for flying my girl out there that day. I could have been fucking plastic titty bitches with Slash and drinking wine out of his big ass top hat. Okay, cool. I'll catch you guys later then, Slash said, and shook both my hand and Billy's. Then he looked at the girl I was with right in the eye and he shook her hand. Only thing was, he gave her the fresh double squeeze. Yes! How fresh was that? Now that's a fucking rock star. As Slash left with his Wild Irish buzz and his ponytail, my girl whooped around and asked, "Did you see that? He did like a double squeeze and felt my hand all up." I was just like, yes, I saw that, and it was fucking awesome. Slash! That night at Kinko's, where else, Billy and I wrote a letter to Joey in jail, as we did every night, telling him all about the day we had spent recording with Slash and hearing Leif Garrett tell stories about Michael fucking Jackson. Even more important was that we told Joey that we had spotted Eazy-E, or at least some guy who looked just like him. Joey, Eazy-E's not dead, I wrote. He works at the Burger King around the corner from our hotel. Because some guy who looked exactly like Eazy-E was in fact working in the drive-thru window at the Burger King. I thought that was cool as fuck. Slash was cool as fuck. Just another morning in LA. In Detroit, we'd send a bitch back to her parents' car, if it was still there, and go out for breakfast. Here, we were getting wake-up calls from Slash, plugging us on the radio. Too fucking weird. Then, at the studio, Slash called again to see how the mix turned out. I told him we didn't even have it done yet. Later, he called back just to chat, like we were old pals.
Check this out, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah.
He'd say. Pretty soon, he'd just be going on and on and on about his life.
Man, Joe, I don't know what to put in my house. It's all empty right now. I got this big-ass empty house, blah, blah, blah.
What are you talking about, Slash?
I got a big empty house, man. What the fuck should I put in it?
I don't fucking know. You're Slash, motherfucker. Ask Michael Jackson. Like I was gonna give Slash advice on interior decorating. We hung up. Then he called back 10 minutes later after that.
Hey, Joe, I want to be in the video for the song. Make sure I'm in the video.
I don't even know if this song is gonna be the single, I told him. But if it is, hell yeah, we want you in the video, son. Bring your top hat.
Well, when are you guys going on tour? I want to play it live,
He said. Like we were gonna ask Slash to be in our band. Like we even had a band. Even though we didn't have a band, I still thought about asking him to join ICP. I turned to Mike. If Slash calls back, tell him I'm not here. That was a stale move, I know, but we had so much work to do, it was crazy. And I was getting crazy nervous with Slash calling and calling and calling. What the fuck do I say to Slash? It was so crazy. He actually called us and was like,
turn on the radio station, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be on there in 10 minutes.
And then we tuned it in, and he was giving us shout-outs and plugging us. It was so fucking crazy. Within a few days, it was time to work with Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. Whoever the fuck that was. I called Julian and Mike Clark at the studio.
Tell him I'm mad sick and that I apologize I couldn't be in the studio, and thank him so much for playing on our record.
Mike got on the phone. Joe, why don't you just show up? Don't you want to meet Steve Jones from the fucking Sex Pistols?
Mike, I couldn't tell you one song from the Sex Pistols. I don't know anything about Steve Jones, so I just don't want to be there.
All I knew about the Sex Pistols was that they were these old school guys who went on MTV and swore a lot during their interviews. So Steve Jones came down, played on Piggy Pie, and it was cool. I sent him a letter thanking him and apologizing, and that was it. Can you believe I was too much of a fucking pussy hole to fucking hang out with Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols? I know all about the Sex Pistols now. They were one of the greatest punk rock music groups of all time. And I'm talking about real fucking punk rock, not that Avril Lavigne bullshit. I'm talking real punk. Leif Garrett kept dropping by to take me out to the titty bar and talk about his movie ideas. None of the dancers knew who he was either. He should have had them all call their moms. We had about enough of this LA showbiz crap, but we still had Alice Cooper to go. So Julian and I took the 1-hour flight to Phoenix to get Alice Cooper off the golf course so he could do the intro to the Great Milenko album at some studio we were at in Arizona. Once again, I was nervous as fuck because I didn't know shit about Alice Cooper either. That really sucked because I knew he was supposedly the shit, but I didn't know the first fucking thing about him. Alice Cooper is notorious for golf, right? That's all I knew. Well, he came into the studio fresh off the golf course. In his fucking golf clothes. He pulled up in a fucking golf cart, and his hair was in a nice ponytail. It was shiny, glossy. He must use Prel. I flashed back to my caddying days. It was as if I was caddying for a preppy witch. That's what Alice Cooper looked like. A preppy witch. Hey, Julian, Alice said. Then Julian introduced me. Alice, this is Joe Bruce. Nice to meet you, he said. Alice had a weak, feeble handshake just like a wrestler. Wrestlers always give you these ginger-ass handshakes. It's like a wrestling code. They barely touch your hand. I fucking hated it. Don't deadfish me, motherfucker. I don't care if it's a wrestling code or not. Don't give me no feeble-ass fucking dead fish handshake. I don't want to just graze the skin of your palm. Fuck you. If you don't shake my hand like a man, eat a fucking dick. I may not have known shit about Alice fucking Cooper, but I can tell you after that, I knew he had a ginger-ass handshake. Maybe he had hand surgery at one point, and he can only squeeze his fist so much. I don't know, so I might cut him some slack. Maybe he jacks off a lot and his hand is sore. Who the fuck knows? So Alice put down his clubs long enough to put on some headphones and record the intro that I had written. I was actually coaching him from the sound booth. Me, Joe Bruce, Floob, and former pupil of Dr. Sophia, schooling fucking Alice Cooper on how to do our shit the way we wanted it. Ain't that the shit? What's this word? Malenko, he asked. It's shit. How was I gonna define it? Can I explain to you what all this is just so you know, I asked. Yeah, well, sure, Alice Cooper said, half annoyed. I sat down with Alice Cooper and started explaining what the Dark Carnival was in full detail. I told him all about the 6 Joker cards and everything. He really seemed to not give a fuck less. He was yawning, his eyes were rolling in the back of his head, he was texting. There wasn't even cell phones back then, but he was texting. He was totally fucking bored with every word I was saying. He was totally fucking annoyed. No lie. This is the 4th Joker's card, Alice. Each Joker's card is sort of like a mirror representing the listener. So you see yourself in 6 different reflections, and you have a chance to change yourself before the ending comes. You know, the great Malenko was the 4th Joker's card, and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Somewhere in that golf-addled mind of his, he understood everything. He went in there, and he fucking freaked the intro.
Be warned, my children. 6 will visit, followed by the crumbling of time itself. Before the coming of Shangri-La, a dark carnival will sweep across the land as a shadow, plagued with destruction.
Right after he finished, he was like, well, I'm back to the golf course. He grabbed his clubs, hopped back on his little rock and roll golf cart, and made his way out into traffic. By the way, that's no joke. He really was dressed in golf clothes and fresh from the course. It was funny as hell. Why is it that if you're golfing, you have to wear clown pants and a fuzzy gay sweater, yellow? Why is that? Even if you're wicked shit master Alice Cooper, he's still dressed like a total fucking metrosexual preppy with a ponytail and the face of a scary Halloween witch. 2 days later, Julian took us to Alice Cooper's concert in LA. Lo and behold, to our surprise, Slash came out and started playing with him on stage wearing that same ass tired Riddlebox shirt. Our posse that night was Julian, Leif Garrett, still wearing his tired ass Riddlebox hat, which probably stunk like sweat and beer for some reason. Billy was there, and also with us was fucking Pat Boone. Pat fucking Boone was there, watching Alice Cooper and Slash with us. Julian knew the weirdest fucking group of people you could ever imagine. If you don't know who Pat Boone is, fuck you. He's way before my time too, so I'm not gonna explain it. We couldn't get out of there and back to Detroit quick enough. We knew it was time to split when we ran into George Clinton in our hotel lobby. George Clinton from the P-Funk All-Stars. Mike knew him from working with him back in Detroit. It turned out he was staying at the same hotel we were. We hooked him up with $3 cash, and Mike went up to his room with a DAT machine so he could record him saying, "Clown dog, freak dog," for the song Hocus Pocus. Well, when we finally got back to Detroit, the George Clinton thing didn't work out, so we wasted our money. We couldn't get his lyrics to sound right in the song, so there goes $3,000 out of our pockets and through George Clinton's crack pipe. Damn, gone. It just didn't fit into the song anywhere. Mike and I argued about it. I didn't give a fuck that it was George Clinton. It didn't matter to me. It wasn't going on the record if it didn't sound right. If it didn't sound good enough, I didn't give a fuck who the fuck it was. Nobody was gonna buy the Great Milenko album just cause George Clinton was on it saying clown dog, freak dog. So it didn't fucking matter. 3,000, gone. Who cares? Turns out though, nobody was gonna buy the album, period, if Hollywood Records had their way. I gotta take some more Vicodin before I talk about this, because brother, it's still a pain in my ass.